Have you ever heard the phrase, "A woman with nothing to lose is the most dangerous thing in the world"? Well, what about a woman who has everything to lose but risks it anyway? A stable marriage, kids, a reputation, the safety of routine. And yet some married women still gamble it all for a younger man. Is it lust, love, desperation, madness? Or is it something much, much deeper? Something buried under decades of silent longing and smothered desire? Dr. David Buss, an evolutionary psychologist, once wrote that humans are not designed for lifelong monogamy. We are wired for novelty, temptation, and rebellion. And for some married women, that rebellion comes in the form of a man young enough to make her feel alive again. Let's break this down from 5 different perspectives, 5 different hidden truths. Brace yourself. 1. The ghost in the mirror. Aging is merciless, not just physically, but existentially. There was a time when she walked into a room and heads turned. She didn't have to try. Youth was her silent armor. Her skin was untouched by time. Her laughter carried weight, and the world responded to her presence. Now she stands in front of the mirror and sees a stranger, fine lines where there were none, eyes that have seen too much, a body that has softened from years of carrying children, stress, routine, and worst of all, the world no longer sees her. Her husband still loves her, yes, but does he see her? Does he study her the way he used to? Does he touch her the way he did before life became a string of responsibilities? Or has she become just another part of the house? Familiar, expected, unnoticed. Then he comes along, a younger man, maybe a co-worker, a gym trainer, the son of a friend. It doesn't matter who he is. What matters is that he notices the way she tucks her hair behind her ear, the scent of her perfume, the confidence in her voice that younger women don't yet possess. And suddenly, she is seen again. At first it's innocent, a compliment here, a glance that lingers too long, a casual text that shouldn't make her heart race but does. Then comes the dopamine hit. She starts wearing that dress again, not for her husband, but for herself. She checks her phone more than she should, and she anticipates. What begins as harmless flattery morphs into something dangerous, a craving, because when a woman who has been unseen for years is finally noticed again, logic doesn't stand a chance. She risks it all, not because she's reckless, not because she's ungrateful, but because for the first time in years, she feels alive. 2. The trap of monotony. Marriage is supposed to be the final destination, but no one talks about what happens after the wedding, after the honeymoon, after the years begin to blur into repetition. The same kisses goodnight, the same small talk over dinner, the same routine over and over, until passion becomes a distant memory. She loves her husband, but love and desire are 2 very different things. And then he appears, a younger man, full of energy, curiosity, and unpredictability. He doesn't yawn at the dinner table. He doesn't walk past her without noticing. He studies her, he listens to her, he wants her, and suddenly she realizes something terrifying. She is starving for excitement. This isn't about sex, not yet. It's about the rush, the thrill, the feeling of stepping into the unknown after years of predictability. It starts with stolen glances, a joke that lingers too long, a conversation that shouldn't feel so electric. Then, the first real betrayal. Not the kiss, not the affair, but the moment she starts hiding it. Her phone screen tilted away, the small lies that come effortlessly. The guilt followed immediately by the thrill of getting away with it. The thing about monotony is this: once you taste something new, going back is impossible, because now she's awake, and for the first time in years, she wants more. 3. The clock that never stops ticking. People think women feel time pressing down on them only when they're young, rushing to find love, a husband, a family, but they don't talk about the second clock, the youth clock, the desirability clock, the slow realization that time is stripping away her power. At 20, she walked into a room and owned it without trying. At 35, she felt a shift. More effort was needed. At 45, the world has begun looking past her. Society makes its expectations clear. Young women are desired. Older women are respected. But what happens to a woman who doesn't want respect? She wants to feel wanted. Enter the younger man. To her, he is a time machine. When he touches her, she is 25 again. When he looks at her, she isn't just a wife, a mother, an aging woman. She is irresistible. The affair isn't about him. It's about rewinding time, about proving to herself, to the world, that she still has power. But here's the cruelest truth. Trying to fight it, to turn back the clock, that's how tragedies are made. The escape from invisible chains. Marriage can feel like a warm prison, not the kind with bars and chains, but the kind that's so comfortable, so familiar, so expected, that you don't even realize you're trapped until it's too late. For years, she followed the script. Be a good wife, be a good mother, be grateful. And she was, but deep inside, in the silent corners of her mind, something was suffocating, a restlessness, a craving for something she couldn't name. A whisper, is this all there is? At first she ignored it, buried it beneath PTA meetings, grocery lists, family vacations. Then he appeared, not just younger, free. He had no mortgage, no crying kids, no conversations about electricity bills. He had nothing tying him down, and in him she saw everything she lost. The way he moved without care, the way he talked about life like it was still unwritten. And suddenly, she saw her own life not as a gift, but as a sentence. She loved her husband, but when was the last time they talked about dreams? When was the last time she felt like she could be wild, reckless, alive? He, this younger man, wasn't just temptation. He was a doorway to the life she once imagined for herself before she became a mother, before she became a wife, before she became just a role. The affair wasn't about lust. It was about freedom and escape from invisible chains. But here's the thing about running away. You don't always get to choose where you end up, and some escapes lead straight into a worse kind of prison. 5. The price of playing with fire. There's no such thing as an affair without consequence. At first it feels like a perfect crime. The sacred texts, the stolen hours, the thrill of having a hidden life. She tells herself, no one will find out. It doesn't mean anything. I'm still in control. But no one plays with fire without getting burned. At first, the guilt is easy to ignore. Then comes the first slip. A text sent at the wrong time. A name almost spoken in her sleep. A change in her routine that her husband notices. Then comes the paranoia. She starts checking her phone obsessively, deleting messages, rehearsing her lies in the mirror. The excitement turns into something else, a storm brewing on the horizon. And then, the moment she never saw coming. Maybe her husband finds out. Maybe the younger man moves on, leaving her stranded in the wreckage. Maybe she realizes too late that she destroyed something she never wanted to lose. Because here's the truth about playing with fire. You think you're in control until you're not, and once the flames start spreading, there's no going back. Not all married women risk everything for a younger man, but for the ones who do, it's never just about the man. It's about time, it's about power, it's about the desperate need to feel alive. 6. The allure of rebellion. There's something intoxicating about breaking the rules. For years, she followed the script of marriage, stability, and responsibility. But deep inside, she wonders, what if I stopped being the good woman for once? Some people say rebellion is for the young, but what if rebellion is something that's always there, waiting? A younger man represents everything forbidden, reckless, untamed. He doesn't care about social norms. He doesn't play by the same rules. And suddenly, neither does she. It's not just about him. It's about who she becomes with him. She feels daring again. She feels like she has a secret again. She feels like she's breaking free from a life that has become too predictable. And when you've been good for too long, sometimes the idea of being bad feels like the most alive thing in the world. But rebellion always has a cost. What starts as a rush eventually turns into consequences, and once the thrill wears off, she realizes the rules existed for a reason. 7. The fear of time itself. Aging is a thief. It steals youth slowly, day by day, in ways that go unnoticed until one day she looks in the mirror and doesn't recognize herself. The younger man is not just a lover. He is a symbol of the years she lost, the energy she used to have, the life she once thought would never fade. With him, she feels young again. With him, she pretends time hasn't caught up with her. She convinces herself that she can outrun the inevitable. But time is patient, and sooner or later, it always wins. Because the younger man, he is still moving forward, while she is only borrowing his youth for a little while. And the hardest truth to face is this: you can chase youth, but you can never truly reclaim it. And the final question, the one no one ever wants to ask, is this: was it worth it? Some say yes, most say no. But by the time they realize the answer, it's already too late. Subscribe to the channel because in a world of distractions, only the disciplined remain unshaken.